Aurora and Arthur Petrova, a trip to Snaresbrook, Peterborough and Birmingham, but not without its dangers, toils and snares. Part 2. In room 307 of the Hilton, where the Birmingham air is still, Petar contemplates a future that requires a steady will. He dreams of being led pastor, an official, sacred post. To guide a congregation is the thing he wants the most. Outside, his black BMW 3 Series sits sleek within its bay, an automatic vessel for the plans he's made today. Staslev sum, he whispers, feeling elated and quite grand, imagining a world where he is the leader of the land. He seeks a standard for his life that's far from the mundane, while looking at the city through a polished window pane. Aurora sits upon the bed, her pink glasses on her face, using her laptop to ensure her thoughts are all in place. She's crafted a big PowerPoint to prove her point with flair, why London is the best and Birmingham cannot compare. She loves the TfL and every station on the line. To leave her city iconography would be a dire sign. I object to moving elsewhere, she exclaims with vocal pride. I'm an Essex girl at heart, with nowhere left to hide. She fears the shift to Birmingham is a monotonous mistake, a tedious transition that her spirit cannot take. Nearby, young Arthur sits alone, his green glasses all aglow, playing on a broken iPad that he accidentally dropped, you know. The screen is cracked and dismal, a web of silver lines, a malfunctioning disaster that his focus now entwines. He's wearing Superman trunks, ready for the pool, though he feels the broken device makes him look a bit a fool. What a mug move, he mutters as he taps the jagged glass, hoping that the afternoon will eventually come to pass. He is quiet and reserved, a contrast to his sister's noise, finding solace in the digital, among his broken toys. The drive up was a struggle, a trial on the motorway, when Petar had to pull aside and halt the long display. For Aurora, in a petulant fit, had torn her book apart, an action that had pierced her father's very serious heart. The silence on the hard shoulder was heavy and severe, as Petar's blue-rimmed glasses fogged with anger and with fear. Your behavior is exacerbated by this infantile display. He had barked at his daughter in a most discouraging way. The torn pages lay like confetti on the black leather seat, a sign that their day was starting with a bitter, cold defeat. Marija gathers up the towels, her hair in a tight, firm bun, ready to ensure that their swimming time has finally begun. She wears bright orange clothes to match her glasses on her nose, concealing old kettle scars with a modest, quiet pose. Ella Tuca, Aurora, she calls, helping the girl prepare, as Aurora pulls on a costume that she's hesitant to wear. It's Marija's old turquoise suit, a rudimentary Sophia find, reminiscent of a former life that Mom has left behind. Don't be reticent, Marija says. It fits you very well, even if it carries stories that only I can tell. They reach the hotel pool where the water is a shimmering blue, a sibilant splash and a scent of chlorine wait for the crew. The air is thick with humidity, a damp and heavy weight, as Arthur dives into the shallow end, feeling rather elate. His Superman trunks stand out against the tiling on the wall, while Petar swims in the deep end, looking powerful and tall. The sibilance of the water sounds like a secret being told, as the Petrovas enjoy a dip that's refreshing, bright, and bold. Mnogo dobre, Marija says, watching from the side, feeling a sense of family peace that she no longer has to hide. But then, Aurora leans down low and takes a forbidden sip. The chlorinated water touches her defiant, thirsty lip. She drinks the pool water, which is prohibited and quite wrong, a hygiene risk that's dangerous, as the chemical scent is strong. She thinks it's quite amusing, a little rebellious act, but she's caught by Arthur's eagle eyes, and that is just a fact. Aurora's drinking germs, he yells, his voice a sudden ring. She's swallowing the chemicals in every nasty thing. No. The act is quite appalling, a big mistake to make, risking an upset stomach for a silly, watery sake. Petar is incensed, his ire rising like a tide. He swims to the edge where the misbehaving children reside. "That is bang out of order," he bellows, his voice a sharp rebuke. "To drink that murky brine, Aurora, is no minor fluke." He berates her for the germs, the chlorine, and the dirt, warning her that such infantile acts will only make her hurt. "I'm far from lenient now," he cries, his glasses flecked with spray. "You've spoiled the harmony of our Birmingham Saturday." Arthur watches his sister, feeling a sense of deep resent, as his father's loud admonishment shows his total discontent. After an hour precisely, the swimming session must end, an itinerary change that Aurora cannot hope to mend. She is not sad to leave, for she knows the schedule by heart. She understands the timing and exactly when to depart. They walk back to the changing rooms, a damp and silent pair, with the smell of the pool still clinging to their skin and hair. Aurora's fake fringe is flat and wet, her twin plaits soaking through, as she thinks of all the things that she'd much rather do. She isn't crestfallen or loquacious as they head toward the door, knowing that the hotel room holds many games in store. In the corridor, they meet the Antonios, a family they know well, with stories of their own travels and hotel stays to tell. "Good evening, Petrovas," Mr. Antonio says with a wide, bright grin. "Are you enjoying the Hilton in the city we're currently in?" Petar pauses to chat, his pastor-like composure back in place, while a polite and friendly smile settles on Maria's face. "The facilities are adequate," Petar replies with a nod, "though raising children in hotels can sometimes be quite odd." They exchange some pleasantries about the upcoming move, finding a shared rhythm and a social, easy groove. Back in room 307, the Chinese food arrives, a fragrant feast of noodles that ensures the group survives. There are salt and pepper chips and spring rolls in a stack, an irresistible dinner that keeps their hunger at the back. Maria serves the plates with care, ensuring all is fair, while the scent of soy and ginger fills the hotel's conditioned air. "Mnogo dobre," Arthur says, his mouth full of a prawn, feeling much more ecstatic than he had been since the dawn. They eat their meal with gusto, sitting on the beds and floor, forgetting all the bickering that had happened just before. "Simon says," Arthur shouts, once the plates are cleared away, starting up a game to keep the boredom far at bay. "Simon says touch your nose. Simon says pat your head." Aurora follows every word while hopping on her bed. "Touch your toes," Arthur cries, trying to catch her out, but Aurora stays perfectly still. Without a single doubt, she is clever and alert, a match for her brother's skill, as they play the infantile game with a determined, happy will. Petar watches from his chair, his blue glasses catching light, pleased to see his children finally acting quite polite. Then they transition to hide and seek, a classic hotel feat, finding spots behind the curtains or under the crisp white sheet. Aurora hides behind the long drapes, her pink glasses peeking through, thinking about the Birmingham life and all that she must do. She knows the move is coming, a future she must embrace, even if it means she has to find a brand new favorite place. She personifies the city as a giant waiting to be met, a place of toils and snares that she hasn't conquered yet. "Found you," Arthur giggles, pulling the curtain to the side, ending the quiet moment where his sister chose to hide. Petar and Maria sit together, talking of the days ahead, while the children start to tire and prepare themselves for bed. The move to Birmingham will be a big transition for us all, Maria says softly, watching the shadows on the wall. "I believe I can be lead pastor there," Petar says with a sigh, "to serve the word and help the flock under a different sky." They talk of the new house and the schools the kids will attend, hoping that this journey will have a happy, peaceful end. The future is a landscape of opportunity and grace as they prepare to make their home in this new industrial place. "The clocks changed tonight," Petar reminds them with a wink. "An extra hour of sleep for those who want to stop and think. It's nearly bedtime now. The Saturday is almost through. A day of pool water, broken iPads, and torn books, too. Lacunos, they whisper as the lights begin to dim, while Pitar says a prayer for them, and also one for him. The Petrova family huddles in the warmth of room 307, under the watchful eyes of the Birmingham stars in heaven. The trip was full of snares, but they've made it to the end, with an extra hour of rest on which they can depend.